Okay, so imagine this. You're an outlaw in the Wild West, robbing the train, and mind your own business. Then boom, you accidentally unleash a vampire lord from a Coffin Express. You get cursed, and now you're a half-vampire gunslinger with a license to kill. This is Darkwatch, the only game where Dracula meets Lucy's Hood. A criminally underrated game from 2005, Darkwatch is a first-person shooter that threw horror, westerns, vampires, and unhealthy metal leather trench coats into a blender, and somehow made it work. Developed by High Moon Studios and published by Capcom, back when Capcom was just showing spooky darts at a PS2 wall to see what stuck. The result? A weird, beautiful mess of blood, bullets, and supernatural nonsense. You play as Jericho Cross, and with a name like that, it sounds like a wrestler from the underworld, I'm not gonna lie. He's an outlaw turned reluctant vampire hunter after getting infected by the Lazarus curse during the train heist. Then he ends up joining the Darkwatch, which is like the FBI for supernatural problems, if the FBI also lets you wear spurs, do wield holy pistols, and has no dress code. At its core, Darkwatch is a first-person shooter, but with a twist of demonic lamb. Combat is fast, punchy, and surprisingly vertical. Jericho can jump like he's on a trampoline made of fucking ghoul souls, which adds a lot of fun movements to the firefights, and I use this a lot whenever I felt like I was close to death. The weapons that you get in the game are very like fitting of the vibe. For example, you get revolvers that can be dual wielded, shotguns that have silver bullets, crossbow that fire explosive bolts because why not? Sniper rifles, some annoying flying cowboy hookers. Trust me, I'll talk about it in a bit. They're very annoying. And the good old reliable carbine, and I love a carbine. You do start off with a classic cowboy gun, the 6-shooter revolver, but you're going to quickly ditch that for a full auto pistol. So I don't even know why to be honest, I don't even think you get that classic revolver back after that point. I don't know why you would though. I don't know why you would want it back.
So satisfying.
But let's not forget, Jericho isn't just a cowboy. No. He's much more than that. He's also a vampire. A vampire with vampire powers. So let's talk about them real quick. As you progress, you unlock vampire abilities called Dark Gifts, and these are things like Blood Frenzy, which lets you go berserk and kill anything in one hit with a melee attack, Silver Bullets, which do increased damage on any weapon that you've got, Vindicator, which is my personal favourite because it fires lightning and fucking just kills everything in sight, and then something like, I think there's a Vampire Healing one, which lets you suck out the life out of enemies, just like a classic vampire one. Now, how do you actually unlock these powers? Well, it depends on morality choices. Yeah, Darkwatch has morality choices. So Jericho can be a good boy vampire or just like a total blood-sucking menace. I mean, it's up to you. The way the morality choices work, they're very like context heavy. So you'll be given an option to like save a civilian or kill a civilian. Even where you're stuck in the blood. So I don't know how you're saving them by doing it, but you know. So you can suck the blood in a good way so that they live, or you can suck it in the bad way so that they die. And obviously that's your morality choices. And that will give you good boy vampire powers or bad boy vampire powers. I don't really think the powers correlate to like the behavior. For example, one of the good boy powers is the lightning one, which just kills everything. I don't know why that belongs to like the good guy branch. The only one that makes sense is like the vampire death sucking blood frenzy, I think it is. Vampire healing it's called. And that actually sucks the life out of people. Obviously that's an evil one. That one makes sense, but like I don't know why a good vampire is using lightning to smite his enemies. The morality system doesn't just affect powers, it also affects the story, but only very slightly. I don't think it's a good enough reason to play the game again, doing a different path, but you do get an exclusive boss fight depending on what you've done. You get a good boss fight and a bad boss fight. So that's pretty cool. Let's quickly mention the other characters in the game. So you got Jericho Cross, who's your classic anti-hero. Grumbly voice, shoots first, never asks questions. He's like Blade, but with a cowboy hat. That was a perfect analogy. That was a perfect analogy. And then you got the Diva Cassidy, who's like your mentor. She believes in redemption, always looks disappointed if you like do something bad. She's basically the vampire hunting version of like a high school teacher. You know, like she's always correcting you. She's the good person. She's like the good moral choice. And then we have Tala. Now, Tala is a chaotic evil who's like 90% cleavage and 10% betrayal. She's always like flirting, murdering, she monologues a lot, and you'll make bad decisions because of her. And you know what? I can't blame you. She's got it all on display. I mean, you could smell that betrayal from a mile away, but like you still want her on your team. And then there's Lazarus. He's the big bad. He's a classic vampire villain, talks like he's auditioning for Hamlet, and he transforms into like a progressively more worse vampire monster. Like he keeps turning into a more monstrous vampire, and by the time you actually fight him fully, it looks like Skeletor's been dipped in barbecue sauce. So Darkwatch probably doesn't look the best for its time, but I think it more than makes up for that with its style. The art direction leans hard into gothic western blend. Picture a Sergio Leone film, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, lit by haunted lanterns and soaked in moonlight, sepia tones, plush tones, twisted cathedrals, the old classic cowboy train. It really is like cowboys met Tim Burton. That's a better way of explaining it. And I think this also extends to the enemies in the game. They range from like undead cowboys, the banshees, which are fucking annoying. All they do is fly around, scream. They're really hard to hit, you know, and then you can chop their arms off and they'll bitch and moan that they lost their arm. Like, shut up, you're already dead.
I fucking hate them.
They've even got the main villain from Rayman 3. Like, you cannot tell me these aren't the same person. The game even has horseback sections where you'd be shooting behind you, in front of you, while riding a horse. But it's a cool idea, not a great mechanic. I want to quickly touch on the soundtrack as well. It was composed by Mike Regan, who also worked on God of War. The music in this game, it slaps. It's really good. It fixed the game so perfectly. It's got the cowboy feel, the horror vibes, the actions there. It's like eerie choir music with ghostly whispers, western guitar riffs. That's like the best way I can explain it.
Oh, very good. Yes, so good, so good.
And the sound design itself also sounds pretty good. Gunshots echo in caves, you can hear enemies screaming, every enemy's got like a distinct noise. So when I heard the fucking banshees, I knew I was gonna be annoyed for a little bit. The voice acting isn't anything like Oscar worthy, but I think it's okay.
Don't talk much, do you? That's all right. I've always gone for the tall, dark, and bloodthirsty type. Watch your back out there, Jericho. Not everyone's as happy as I am to have you in the Darkwatch.
I'm horny! I'm horny!
Cassidy's sincere, Tyler's unhinged. Jericho never actually speaks, but if he did, I would think he would have a really grumbly voice. The kind of guy who flosses with barbed wire, that kind of vibe. The actual gameplay and shooting part of Darkwatch is very standard, very basic. You know, you do get a double jump, which is very useful. It does change up the gameplay a little bit, but besides that, it's nothing too special. I think it's the actual setting and the vibe of the game that really sets it apart from others at the time. All the weapons so good, especially the shotgun and the carbine. They're the ones I use the most. Actually, I just lied. The sniper rifle I did not like. I feel like a lot of times I was aiming at the head and it didn't register properly, but maybe that's just me being bad at the game. I also do wish the moral choices played more of an important part in the game, besides just give you two different final bosses. You know, it'd been cool if like you got exclusive missions as well based on the moral choice, because there is a part in Darkwatch where you're in the Darkwatch base and you choose these missions to go to. You have to do them all to progress the game, so it's just basically the next level. But it would have been cool if like being bad give you different missions compared to the good path. Another complaint I hear about the game is that it's too short, which I really do disagree with. While it is a short game, it took me about 4.5 hours to finish. I think if it would have been any longer, I would have got bored, because the level design did get a bit repetitive near the end. So I feel like it ended at the right point. If it was longer, I would have been bored and just gone like autopilot to finish it, and that's no fun. So the game came out in 2005 for PlayStation 2 and Xbox, and there's been nothing of it since. It never got a sequel, and I don't really think it needs a sequel, but it would be nice if it got re-released, you know, maybe on the PlayStation 2 Classic catalogue with the new PlayStation Plus, something like that would be nice. Darkwatch is a game to me that came out, tried something new, came to nowhere. It was wild and it did stick the landing, but I think it was very unappreciated. I mean, it's not perfect, it's not deep, but it has a lot of personality. It's bold, bloody, and I think it's really fun. It does have some jank to it, but it feels like peak PS2 jank. Like it feels nostalgic to play. It reminds me when I used to play PS2 games and they weren't perfect, but obviously you're young and you think they're really good. Stuff like that, you know what I mean? So overall, if you enjoy the aesthetics of Darkwatch, I would say give it a go. If you're here just for like a good first-person shooter, I don't know if this is the right game. But if you want just a simple, chill-back, short game where you play as a vampire, kicking the shit out of other vampires, then this is definitely worth a go.
I would have loved you.
Thank you for watching. You know, I'm doing something different than my usual videos. I know I don't get that many views, but I do like making things. Maybe videos of me just playing games and just saying random stupid shit over it. And I never get more than like a 1,000 views, but it's just fun. It gives me a reason to play games again. If you want more videos like this where I review games, because I do like playing these older games, and let me know. You know, subscribe for more of this stuff. You know, as they all say. Smash that like button, as they all say. And until next time, you know, if a hot girl tells you to rob a bank, no, if a hot girl tells you not to rob the train, just listen to her, because in the end, it's going to benefit you, Jericho, okay? Okay?